Most people don't realize this, but one of the earliest signs of aging isn't just the wrinkle you can see in the mirror. It's the quiet stiffness under the skin, the place where the muscles of your face stop moving the way they used to. And that stiffness, over time, becomes the deep lines that feel impossible to soften after 60. I'm Dr. Carewell, and today, I want to share something simple, something practical, something grounded in the real physiology of your skin. Japan's oldest practicing doctors have spoken about the same idea for decades: you cannot change wrinkles from the surface alone. You must wake up what's happening underneath. The truth is, after 60, the muscles of the face lose tone just like the muscles of the legs or the back. We spend our whole lives using our facial expressions, but we almost never relax or strengthen the deeper layers that support the skin. Gravity pulls downward, circulation slows, and tension settles into the jaw, around the mouth, and especially around the eyes. This combination, weak muscles, low blood flow, and trapped tension, becomes the foundation for wrinkles that feel permanent. But they aren't permanent. And you don't need complicated beauty devices or painful procedures to make meaningful change. Just 1 minute of focused massage can stimulate the exact systems your skin depends on: blood flow, lymph drainage, collagen activity, and muscle relaxation. It sounds simple because it is. The human body responds beautifully when we give it even a little attention in the right way. The most important thing to understand is that circulation is the lifeline of healthy skin. As we age, microcirculation, the tiny blood vessels just beneath the surface, becomes sluggish. That means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and slower repair. When you massage the face with gentle upward motions, you instantly warm the tissue and increase the movement of blood. This isn't cosmetic. It's physiology. Better circulation gives your skin the raw materials it needs to repair itself. Next comes muscle tension. Many people don't realize how much the jaw, temples, and forehead stay clenched throughout the day. This constant tightening pulls the skin into lines. A 1-minute massage, especially around the jawline and between the eyebrows, encourages those small muscles to release. When the muscles soften, the skin lying over them naturally relaxes too. It's one of the reasons massage often creates a clearer, more open expression without changing anything else. And then there's lymphatic flow, the gentle system that clears out fluid and waste. With age, this system slows down as well, leading to puffiness around the eyes and dullness in the cheeks. Even light, slow strokes along the sides of the face and down the neck can help move this fluid again. When lymph moves, the skin looks brighter, the face feels lighter, and wrinkles appear less fixed. The 1-minute routine isn't magic. It's maintenance. Just like stretching the body or deep breathing for the lungs, facial massage is a small, daily practice that keeps the skin responsive and alive. Pair it with a few supportive habits: staying hydrated, eating foods rich in healthy fats, keeping sun exposure moderate, and the results grow naturally over time. No pressure, no urgency, just gentle consistency. Many people overlook this because they assume aging skin is only about creams. Skincare products certainly help, but they work best when the skin itself is active. When circulation is healthy and muscles are relaxed, the skin absorbs better, heals better, and ages more gracefully. That's why this practice is used widely in Japan among older adults. It honors how the body truly works. So take a moment each day, just 60 seconds, to remind your face that it is still alive, still capable of change, still capable of restoring its own softness. This small ritual is not about looking younger. It's about feeling present in your own skin, reconnecting with the parts of yourself that time tried to quiet down but never fully erased. And as we continue, I want you to notice how your skin responds, not right away, but over days and weeks, quietly, almost secretly. Because real change in the body often begins gently, long before the mirror shows it. This is only the beginning, and there's much more we can explore together, slowly, thoughtfully, one step at a time. The skin cannot change from the surface alone, because every visible line is connected to a deeper world beneath, a quiet landscape of muscles, nerves, and microvessels that carry life to the surface. When we look at a wrinkle, we tend to see only the thin fold on top, but the truth is that this fold is simply the final expression of many small biological events happening underneath: slowed circulation, oxygen-starved cells, fatigued facial muscles, and small pockets of tension that never fully release. In aging skin, especially after 60, these deeper systems become less responsive, not because the body has failed, but because it has adapted to decades of habit: the way we move our face, the emotions we suppress, the stress we carry in the jaw or forehead without even noticing. Think of the skin not as a flat layer but as a living garden. If the soil beneath is compacted or dehydrated, even the healthiest plant on the surface can't thrive. But loosen the soil, awaken circulation, bring oxygen back into the roots, and the entire garden becomes capable of renewal again. To understand why deeper change matters, imagine the microcirculation of your face as a network of tiny rivers. In youth, these rivers flow smoothly, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell, clearing waste, and supporting the natural cycles of repair. With age, these rivers begin to slow. The walls of the vessels become less elastic, the muscles that help push blood upward weaken, and stress hormones cause occasional constriction. The result is a landscape nourished unevenly. Some areas receive plenty of blood while others become pockets of stagnation. When a facial muscle tightens repeatedly in these oxygen-poor zones, the skin above it begins to fold more easily and bounce back less. It's not that the skin ages suddenly, it's that the deeper support system becomes quieter, a little less awake. This is why topical products alone cannot create the level of change people hope for. Creams help the surface, moisture, barrier strength, texture, but they cannot restore the flow of oxygen from the inside. Only movement can do that. When you gently massage the face, even for a minute, you're guiding those tiny rivers to move again. You warm the tissue, which signals blood vessels to dilate. Oxygen begins to circulate more freely. The fibroblast cells, the ones responsible for collagen maintenance, become more active in this oxygen-rich environment. The microbiome, the community of beneficial organisms living on the skin, also responds to these shifts, balancing itself more effectively when the underlying blood flow improves. Everything works together in a quiet, coordinated rhythm. Think of it like opening a window in a room that has been closed for too long. The air inside isn't bad, it's simply still. Once fresh air moves through, the atmosphere changes. The room feels lighter, clearer, more alive. Facial tissue works the same way. When you stimulate circulation even briefly, you're letting a wave of freshness move through the deeper layers, waking cells that have been operating on low energy. Over time, this gentle awakening becomes visible on the surface, softer lines, a calmer expression, a sense of openness that doesn't erase age but honors it with vitality. This is why focusing beneath the surface is not a cosmetic trick, it's a quiet act of supporting your biology. A reminder to the skin that it is still capable of responding, still connected to the deeper networks that give it life. And when those networks revive, even slowly, the entire face begins to change in ways that feel both natural and deeply comforting. When you place your hands gently on your face and guide the skin upward with slow, mindful movements, you are doing far more than creating a moment of relaxation. You are awakening microcirculation, the delicate system of tiny vessels that carries oxygen to every cell on the surface of your skin. Many people imagine blood flow as something that either happens or doesn't, but microcirculation is more nuanced than that. It is a living, adaptive network that responds to touch, temperature, breathing patterns, and even emotional states. As we age, especially past 60, this system becomes quieter. The tiny vessels that effortlessly opened and closed in youth begin to stiffen. The muscles that help propel blood toward the surface grow weaker. And stress, which creates microtension in the face, subtly narrows these vessels even more. The result is skin that looks tired not because it lacks care, but because it lacks movement, the movement that keeps its inner landscape alive. This is why 1 minute of upward massage makes such a noticeable difference. When you glide your fingertips along the lines of the face, you generate warmth. That warmth signals the microvessels to expand, increasing the flow of oxygen-rich blood. At the same time, the gentle upward direction counters the natural pull of gravity, giving the underlying muscles a moment of support. The cells in your skin, particularly the fibroblasts responsible for collagen maintenance, thrive in this oxygen-rich environment. Oxygen is, in many ways, the skin's most essential nutrient. It fuels the tiny mitochondrial engines within each cell, allowing them to repair damage, produce energy, and maintain structural proteins. When oxygen levels drop, collagen weakens, elasticity declines, and the skin begins to fold more easily. But when oxygen returns through improved circulation, those same cells regain the capacity to function with clarity. Imagine a small village that depends on a narrow road for everything: food, medicine, communication. When the road becomes blocked or slows to a trickle, the village doesn't collapse immediately, but everything starts to feel strained. Supplies arrive late. Energy drains. Things become sluggish. Now imagine clearing that road, letting the flow resume, even gently. The village brightens again. People move with more ease. The entire system becomes responsive. This is what microcirculation does for the face. It is the road that delivers life to every cell on the surface. And yet, many people underestimate how easily this road becomes congested. Long periods of stillness, poor hydration, colder temperatures, chronic stress, all of these influence blood flow without us ever noticing. The face, being more sensitive and more expressive than any other part of the body, reveals this slowdown quickly. Upward massage becomes a simple way to reopen the pathways. It isn't forceful or dramatic, it's gentle, rhythmic, almost meditative. And the body responds instantly because it remembers this language of touch. There is also a neurological layer to this process. When you massage upward, you activate certain sensory receptors in the skin that communicate with the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for calmness, digestion, and repair. In those quiet seconds, the body shifts slightly out of stress mode, even if only for a moment. This shift alone improves circulation, because a relaxed nervous system allows vessels to stay open. It is a small but meaningful alignment. The mind softens, the vessels open, the cells breathe again. This is why even a single minute matters. It is not the length of time that transforms the skin, it is the quality of the message you send to your body. A reminder that the deeper layers are still alive, still responsive, still capable of drawing in oxygen and releasing tension when given just a little encouragement. Over time, these small awakenings accumulate, and the face begins to reflect a quiet vitality that feels both natural and deeply earned. Releasing the small, overworked muscles of the jaw, forehead, and eyes is one of the most underestimated steps in restoring softness to the face, because these muscles shape your expression far more than the surface of the skin ever could. Most people don't realize how much tension they carry in these areas. The jaw tightens during stress, even in sleep. The eyebrows compress when we concentrate, squint, or suppress emotion. The tiny ring muscles around the eyes contract hundreds of times a day without us ever noticing. Over decades, these repetitive contractions carve themselves into the skin above them, forming the lines we eventually see as age. But the lines are not the origin, the muscle patterns underneath are. The skin simply drapes over whatever lies beneath. And when the muscles stay clenched, the skin has no choice but to fold. Biologically, muscle tension in the face interferes with more than just appearance. It directly affects blood flow, nerve communication, and even the way oxygen reaches the surface. When a muscle is chronically tight, it compresses the tiny vessels running through it. That compression limits circulation and reduces the amount of oxygen delivered to nearby skin cells. Oxygen is essential for collagen maintenance, cellular repair, and the turnover of damaged proteins. Without it, the tissue becomes dull, fatigued, and less able to bounce back. Releasing tension is not simply a relaxation technique, it is a biological reset, restoring space for circulation and allowing the skin above to breathe again. The nervous system plays a quiet, powerful role here as well. Muscles do not tighten randomly, they respond to patterns stored deep in the brain. When you are stressed, the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight branch, sends signals that subtly increase muscle tension, particularly in the face where emotional expression is controlled. Over time, these signals become habitual. The muscles stay partially contracted even when you are at rest. A gentle massage disrupts this pattern by activating mechanoreceptors in the skin, which then communicate with the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair branch. This shift encourages the muscles to release, returning them to their natural state of softness. With each release, the nervous system learns a slightly different pattern, slowly replacing chronic contraction with ease. Imagine a tightly wound spring held under pressure for years. When it finally loosens, even a little, the object it supports settles into a more natural position. The same thing happens in the face. When the jaw unclenches, the chin line softens. When the forehead relaxes, the vertical or horizontal lines sitting above it ease. When the muscles around the eyes release, the delicate skin nearby stops gathering and begins to smooth. The change is subtle at first, a feeling rather than a visible shift, but the skin slowly starts to follow the muscle's new state. This process is helped further by the restoration of lymphatic flow. Tight muscles can trap fluid, leading to puffiness and a sense of heaviness in the face. When tension melts away, fluid drains more freely, reducing swelling and giving the skin a clearer, lighter quality. The microbiome also benefits. A relaxed environment with steady circulation creates a more stable pH and nutrient balance on the skin's surface, supporting healthier bacterial communities. Releasing facial tension is not about forcing muscles to change, it is about reminding them of the softness they once held naturally. Each moment of relaxation tells the body that it does not need to brace itself. And as this message repeats, the expression becomes gentler, the lines become less defined, and the face slowly returns to a state that feels more open, more present, and more alive. Slow, downward strokes along the sides of the face and neck are far more than a gentle ritual, they are a subtle but powerful way to support the lymphatic system, the quiet network responsible for clearing waste and maintaining fluid balance beneath the skin. Unlike blood circulation, which has the heart as a pump, the lymph relies on movement, the natural contraction and relaxation of muscles, to flow. Over decades, as facial muscles become less active and posture shifts, lymph can stagnate, creating puffiness, dullness, or a feeling of heaviness, especially around the eyes, cheeks, and jawline. When this fluid lingers, it not only contributes to visible swelling but also slows the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to nearby cells. The skin, deprived of its natural refreshment, begins to look tired, uneven, or less responsive. Slow massage in a downward direction acts like opening a series of gates, guiding the lymph toward its natural drainage points in the neck, allowing the body to carry away what has accumulated over time. Biologically, the benefits go deeper than simply moving fluid. Lymph carries immune cells, proteins, and metabolic waste from the tissues back into the bloodstream. When it moves freely, it supports cellular repair and helps maintain a balanced environment in the surrounding tissue. Stagnant lymph, on the other hand, can subtly impair this balance, creating areas of low oxygen or metabolic buildup. Over time, these areas show up as sagging or lines, not because the skin itself is failing, but because the systems that sustain it are underperforming. A gentle, daily practice of guiding lymph with your fingertips does not just reduce puffiness, it revives the face's underlying biological rhythm, allowing oxygen and nutrients to reach every layer more efficiently and letting the skin perform its natural renewal processes. To picture this, imagine a quiet stream blocked by debris. The water pools in some areas, creating stagnant patches, while other regions slowly starve for movement. Now imagine clearing the path, allowing the flow to resume steadily toward its destination. Over time, the stream's surface becomes clearer, the water fresher, and the surrounding land healthier. The lymphatic system responds in a similar way. Each downward stroke acts like a gentle sweep, clearing pathways, encouraging fluid to move, and helping the skin above feel lighter, brighter, and more alive. There is also a neurological aspect intertwined with this process. Gentle downward massage engages sensory receptors that communicate with the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch of the nervous system responsible for rest, repair, and digestion. This subtle activation encourages a state of calm, which relaxes nearby muscles and further opens vessels, enhancing both lymphatic and blood flow. It is a harmonious dialogue between touch and biology. The skin responds, the vessels respond, and the nervous system quietly reinforces the rhythm. Over weeks, this dialogue helps the face feel less tense, less weighted, and more naturally buoyant. Finally, lymphatic support interacts with the microbiome and the extracellular matrix of the skin. Improved drainage reduces localized stress on cells, stabilizes the pH, and allows beneficial microorganisms to thrive. It is a small, often invisible adjustment with far-reaching effects. Over time, consistent practice of these slow, downward movements doesn't just reduce puffiness or soften lines, it restores a sense of lightness, vitality, and quiet health that radiates from the deeper structures of the face. In this way, lymphatic massage is not merely cosmetic, it is an invitation for the face to reconnect with its natural circulation, its quiet rhythms, and the resilience it has carried within for a lifetime. Consistency matters more than force when it comes to facial wellness, because the skin, muscles, and underlying systems respond to gentle, repeated signals rather than dramatic, sporadic interventions. Many people assume that anti-aging results come from intensive treatments or sudden changes, but the truth is far more subtle and far more sustainable. Just like stretching the body or practicing mindful breathing, facial massage becomes effective only when the nervous system, circulation, and muscular patterns learn a new rhythm over time. Each small, deliberate session, even just a minute or two, reinforces this rhythm, teaching the body that the underlying muscles can move freely, blood can flow efficiently, and lymph can drain steadily. It is this repeated whisper of encouragement that allows the deeper systems to awaken gradually, producing visible changes that are both natural and enduring. From a physiological standpoint, repetition matters because many of the systems involved in skin health are adaptive. Microcirculation, for instance, responds to habitual movement by strengthening vessel responsiveness. Each time you massage, you gently stimulate capillaries and arterioles, prompting them to dilate and deliver more oxygen and nutrients to the skin. Over time, the vessels become more capable of adjusting to fluctuations in activity or stress. Similarly, the facial muscles learn to relax in response to consistent attention. When tension is eased repeatedly, the sympathetic nervous system, responsible for fight or flight stress responses, slowly cedes control to the parasympathetic system, which encourages repair, fluid movement, and cellular renewal. The nervous system begins to anticipate these gentle interventions, and the body naturally integrates them into its daily rhythms. Consistency also supports the skin's cellular environment. Fibroblasts, responsible for collagen and elastin production, require steady nutrient and oxygen supply to function optimally. Irregular stimulation may temporarily increase circulation, but without repetition, the cells revert to their slower, less efficient state. Similarly, the extracellular matrix, which gives skin its resilience, responds best to regular, gentle movement. Think of it like a piano that is tuned daily rather than once a year. The strings and keys respond more accurately, producing clarity, harmony, and a subtle vibrancy that is absent if tuning is neglected. The same principle applies to your face. Repeated, mindful attention allows the underlying systems to maintain equilibrium and produce outcomes that feel effortless rather than forced. There is also a psychological dimension to consistency. The act of returning to a short, daily ritual signals mindfulness and self-care. It reduces stress, enhances body awareness, and reinforces a sense of connection to one's own health. When you approach the practice with calm, measured intent, the nervous system interprets it as safety, which further encourages circulation, lymphatic movement, and cellular repair. Even a single minute repeated daily communicates to the body that this is a pattern worth integrating, and over weeks and months, the results accumulate in ways that are quietly profound. Ultimately, the value of consistent facial massage lies in its gentle persistence. It is not the intensity of each session, but the rhythm of repeated care that allows the skin, muscles, and circulatory systems to awaken together. Each moment of daily practice tells the body that it is still responsive, still capable of renewal, and still worthy of attention. Over time, this rhythm restores vitality, softens lines, and cultivates a presence in your own skin that is both natural and deeply alive, creating changes that are slow, steady, and remarkably enduring. When the deeper systems of the skin, circulation, lymphatic flow, muscle tone, and neural balance, are active and responsive, every other aspect of skincare begins to work in harmony. Many people rely heavily on creams, serums, or treatments, believing that these products alone can reverse the visible signs of aging. Yet, without an underlying system that is prepared to receive and utilize these resources, even the most advanced formulas have limited impact. Skin behaves like a living ecosystem. It depends on an ongoing dialogue between the cells, blood vessels, nerves, and the supportive connective tissue beneath. When this dialogue is quiet, the surface cannot fully benefit from hydration, nutrients, or active ingredients. But when circulation is strong, muscles are relaxed, lymph is moving, and oxygen levels are restored, the skin becomes receptive, responsive, and resilient. It is a subtle, almost invisible shift, yet one that changes how the face responds to every supportive measure applied to it. Physiologically, this is because nutrients and oxygen must reach the dermis and epidermis efficiently to fuel cellular repair and regeneration. Fibroblasts, the cells that produce collagen and elastin, are particularly sensitive to the availability of oxygen and amino acids. When these resources arrive consistently through well-supported circulation, collagen fibers maintain their structure, elasticity improves, and the skin's natural plumpness is preserved. Conversely, when circulation is sluggish or muscles are tense, these vital elements trickle too slowly, leaving cells undernourished and the skin more susceptible to lines and sagging. In this way, the face becomes a mirror of its inner health. When the internal systems are active, the outward expression becomes more vibrant and naturally resilient. Consider a garden as a metaphor. Even the most nutrient-rich fertilizers cannot help a plant thrive if the soil is compacted, the roots are constricted, or the irrigation system is blocked. The plant needs consistent access to water, oxygen, and space to expand its roots. Once these conditions are met, the nutrients in the fertilizer can truly enhance growth. Similarly, when circulation, lymph, and muscular tone are maintained, topical treatments and hydration are fully utilized, amplifying their effects and supporting long-term skin vitality. It is a partnership between internal readiness and external support, rather than a battle against time. There is also a neurological aspect to consider. When the parasympathetic nervous system is engaged through gentle facial attention, the body enters a state of repair and receptivity. Blood vessels relax, lymphatic flow improves, and the cells of the skin respond more efficiently to both internal and external nourishment. In addition, the skin's microbiome, the community of beneficial microorganisms that support barrier function and immune resilience, thrives when circulation and lymph flow are optimal. A healthy microbiome helps maintain hydration, reduces inflammation, and promotes a smooth, even surface, enhancing the effectiveness of skincare products applied on top. Ultimately, maintaining active, responsive systems beneath the surface transforms every step of facial care from a routine into a dialogue. Hydration penetrates more deeply, nutrients are absorbed more efficiently, and the skin's natural repair mechanisms work in harmony with gentle massage and mindful attention. Over time, this integrated approach allows the face to age more gracefully, not by masking the years, but by supporting the body's innate resilience. It is a reminder that true skincare begins from within, and when the underlying systems are nurtured, every other measure, whether product, habit, or ritual, becomes exponentially more effective, creating a quiet, sustained vitality that radiates naturally from the inside out. As we wrap up, remember this: true transformation doesn't come from rushing or forcing the skin to change overnight. It comes from gentle, consistent care, from giving your face the attention it deserves, awakening circulation, relaxing muscles, supporting lymph flow, and nourishing the deeper systems that sustain vitality. Each minute you spend on these simple, mindful practices is a quiet investment in your body's natural ability to repair, strengthen, and rebalance itself. Progress matters more than perfection. Even small, deliberate gestures, repeated daily, create momentum, whispering to your cells that they are still capable, still responsive, still alive. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin. Start today, in this moment, with calm assurance that each choice, each gentle touch, each mindful breath, matters. Over time, these actions layer together, producing results that feel effortless, natural, and deeply rewarding. If you found this guidance meaningful, I invite you to subscribe and return for the next chapter of this ongoing journey, where we continue exploring ways to nurture, restore, and honor the skin and the life it reflects.